us to speak from the book of Nehemiah. Reaching goals in spite of snags. In other words, snags mean difficulties, blockades, stumps, things that will distract us. Our text would be chapter 4, Nehemiah 4, 1 to 11. Once you have Ezra, you can't miss Nehemiah. So Nehemiah 4, verses 1 to 11. But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth, and took great indignation, and mocked the Jews. And he spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria, and said, What do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Will they revive the stones out of the heap of the rubbish which are burnt? And Tobiah the Ammonite was by him. And he said, Even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. Hear, O our God, for we are despised, and turn their reproach upon their own heads, and give them for a prey in the land of captivity. And cover not their iniquity, and let not their sin be blotted out from before thee. For they have provoked thee to anger before the builders. So build me the wall, and all the walls were joined together unto the half thereof. For the people had a mind to work. But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah, the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Asherites, heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped, then they were very wroth, and conspired all of them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem, and to hinder it. Nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God, and set a watch against day and night because of them. And Judah said, the strength of the bearer of burdens is decayed. There is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build a wall. And our adversary said, They shall not know, neither see, till we come in at the midst among them, and slay them, and cause the work to cease. So here it is, people doing their own, what they were told to do by God. And here it is, detractors, people coming and deliberately trying to stall them, slow them down, and do everything to hinder them in their progress. This book of Nehemiah is the last of the historical books of the Old Testament. In the book of Nehemiah, we find the rebuilding of the walls of Jerusalem. And Nehemiah, who led this noteworthy accomplishments, was a person of courage and determination. You could see that. But Nehemiah found that goals are not always accomplished without difficulties. But in spite of the difficulties, he reached his goal. So like Nehemiah, if we take a lesson from his book, if we are to reach our goals today, we must be obedient to the word of God. Have faith in the power of prayer, and muster what we call that stickability. Stay with it. To hold on when the going gets rough. Because at times the going really gets rough. Nehemiah had come to Jerusalem because remember he was in another land, Shushan. And there he was a cupbearer to the king Xerxes. But while in the land serving, he got information about home, you know. If there's something about people when they're in different lands, if you meet a bunch of Trinidadians in America, New York, you know, and when I talk, you talk about home, home, home. You know, when you say about home, that's it. You know what they're talking about. Common among people. So here he is in a foreign land, and he's inquiring about home. And he received news that was troubling about the conditions at home in Jerusalem. He learned that things are real bad back there. Why? The walls that surround the city has fallen. Well, as a matter of fact, was torn down by the enemies. And the gates, which the main gate to get in and out, they burned the gates. So you had no walls to protect them on the inside, and neither no gates to keep them out. So the people suffered great affliction because of that problem. And that's the news that reached Nehemiah in the king's court. Now that news disturbed him. So he prayed. And that tells us something. Sometimes you and I get news that disturb us, the best of us. Sometimes before we go to anybody else, it's better that we go to God and talk to God. You know, as the hymn writer say, take it to the Lord in prayer. And once we come from talking to our God now, we are ready to do things. He went to the king and petitioned the king to allow him to go back to help build the wall. And one of the great things about that is when you have a person who has authority and they can help you, and that's a real blessing from God. So here he was going back, but he had the king's blessing. And of course he got a lot of help. That again is an act of God. But he had a goal. And what he had to achieve out there was to build a wall. That's what he had in mind. You find that one of our present pitfalls with some of our people today is they seem to have no goals. You let some people do something and then they don't have a goal, I guess. They're just there. But you know, when you have a goal, you work towards something. I came into the Baptist church, and once I felt the call and people helping me around. Now my goal is to be a preacher one day. And no matter what came in my way, that is where I was aiming, to be a preacher one day. And even when I met my wife, to be, we didn't marry yet, I told her that I'll be a minister one day. And of course she knew that. That's what the aim. But you must keep your eyes there. And no matter all the hell that rolled, it didn't change that rule. I was determined, and God gave the strength, and He allowed me to be what He wanted me to be. We have a lot of people out there that seem to have no goals. And some of us get nowhere because we ain't going anywhere already. In our mind, we don't know, some of us don't know what we want. We have this, we are happy, we have that, we did, that. So many things that a lot of us have. And yet we're not happy. You wonder in our times. But not only individuals, there's some churches that come to a standstill likewise. And like if they can't grow, you know. And they have a lot of projects on paper. Do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. And at the end of it, you find you get nothing done. But the project's on paper. We've got a plan with a purpose. I was just reading here this man with this minister, with this amount of millions. I said, my God. You know, a man could be, could sit in Trinidad. I look in the Creflo Dollar, looking at all these fellas outside. And right here in Trinidad, a man sitting on $21 million. And he just cool a Cuba. Well, brother, a lot of us could have money if we had to have money. I had to talk to him, bring him in here to talk to us one day. I mean, tell us how he did it. That secret should be shared all around. If in 19 years, how much years you make that amount of money, you tell us. Share it around, don't keep that to yourself. When you have a goal, you work towards it. You achieve great things because you have that is good, that is. Tell share the people. Let them know that they can at least help themselves. But you know, when you set your mind on something, that's good. You keep working at it. You don't waste much time. You know what you want, you go at it, and you do what you have to do. And there are some people who waste a lot of time because, oh my God, can't make their mind up. They want this. As you reach halfway, they stop. They don't want to take it. They want that. Halfway, they stop. And there's some people's lives like that even up to today. Oh gosh, they can't make their mind up. But let me say this. When God put in your heart the desire for something, and God set you on course for it, then you don't have to look left nor right. Just keep going. And you will achieve what He set you for. And come what may. You know, when I was young in our Pity Valley area where I grew up, around me, and they looked so trees and bush and everything. Not too many houses. Neighbor house across the neighbor house across the, with a bush, a lot of bushes. Birds, this like that. And a pleasure for us is to pet birds, especially doves. And you see that bird on a branch way out there. And some of the friends who come to visit me, they come from other areas where nice houses, and everything wonderful around it. And when they trusted you one day, you didn't from Trinidad. I didn't say anything to them. When I take a stone and throw, it coming as close to the devil as possible. They all falling all over the place. But how you could parent so good? I grew up in the bush, you right area, you are in the parent. I in the bush all the time, I took a parent. And I was coming nearer and nearer to my targets. Because when you throw it everything you have. Pile the stone. I said, oh my goodness, that bird, you either take him off the branch or he gets away from it and fly off. Because the next time I get him. You just get it in you. Because you're growing a setting and your whole life conditioned for these gardens. Whereas those who are not accustomed, well, you could tell because they're missing this, they're missing that. Oh my goodness. We went into an occasion, the merit. I went to another area where somebody had a christening. We went there. Some men, well, I look at the places I walk in because it's bush area. You know what I mean? Where I grew up had a lot of bush. And I grew in this area, going to that area, bush. So I'm walking through and I'm looking around. I notice you have a pool of water here, a log across the road here, and this, that. And I going, cool. I reached the christening, the place bright. Oh, excitement. When I was leaving now, the darkness, two men from the city, they're from Duke Street, they were walking out together with me. Oh God, we had talks. Silly boys. But in the darkness now, I saw the place look dark, I know that's where the log is. I go over the log. My friends fell over the log, but whoosh. But you're a city man, you don't know to walk in the bush in darkness. We walk further. I saw dark, I said that's where the pool is now, so I go around. My friend fell down, back tap in the water. I had to laugh in the darkness, you hear me laughing for these fellas. Two big men. Oh gosh, we know from here. I said, we're from Duke Street. Duke Street had light right through. I grew up with I had to walk a whole dark road to get home. Get accustomed to darkness, a slight movement in darkness, and there's somebody's there, or something has moved, you know? So there's some things that condition you for upon where you are. So therefore, when you have a goal, like as though your whole mind triggered up, that's where I'm going. And so help my goodness. You're turning back. But again, if you have it real loving and easy and sweet, you will do what you want. And believers, I believe, that's why some of us succeed. Because we stick to what we believe is God ordained for us. And we keep going with it. And at the church, as believers, we do the work of God. We have to reach out. You know, as William Carey says, expect great things from God and attempt great things for God. And we need to encourage our young people. There are some who already, push it forward, but there are others again who are trying to find themselves. And we need to encourage them. Don't ever, keep your eyes upon the Master. Ask him for daily guidance, and he will direct your path. Don't be afraid. Keep asking God for your daily guidance. He will help you. You're not wasting your life away. If you forget God and try to navigate your own path, that's dangerous. But where God guides us, or is guiding us, we will make it. And you realize that goals can become a reality. That's how it is, a reality. But we have in that desire had to be instilled in you. And believers, I believe with all my heart that God instills in people. that something that he wants them to be, because that's why people are artists and people are musicians and people are, different professions in this world. That is not by accident, They designed even before that. Long before they came in the scene. They just naturally have an aptitude in that area. Because I believe God designed them, especially before that. And they follow that dream. So Nehemiah was sad, and he decided he would come home because the king gave his blessings and he was going to see about that war. And believers, he came, and when he reached there, what he saw was deplorable hatred. But more than the problem he had with the wars, he had to encourage those people who were so discouraged by the fact that the land was open and they were constantly attacked by enemies, and now they were like in a position where they were always hiding. He had to encourage them now to be brave in the Lord and get ready for action. They go to work. Now, while he's talking work and action, on the other side, there are those who are looking on too. They're not concerned about, they don't have the interest of the people at heart. As a matter of fact, they don't care about the people. But they're carefully taking note of what is going to happen there. Isn't that the way it is sometimes with us? We have some neighbors who may not really care about us, but they love to know what is happening in our families. Always pushing themselves in a position to know what's happening by us. They're in their own house, they might know, but they don't have to know. They want to know. The Bible speaks about men like Tobiah, Sanballat. They, of course, they didn't like the Jews. And they heard through the grapevine, Nehemiah came back and they're going to build a wall. They said, build a wall, we will see to it that that wall is not built. One of the things that is learned from that is simply, while you have your heart fixed upon the things you like to do, and while you try hard to accomplish the goal that is set before you, there are people, and there will always be people, who are against what you're doing. Why they're so, I cannot tell. But you meet them all the time. They make what you do their business and they're against you for doing it. And you didn't ask them any questions. So I will tell you, my brothers and sisters in Christ, whatever good things that you're doing, and God is blessing you, keep on doing it. Good things that God bless you to do it. Forget those distractors who will try to tell you this and tell you that and tell you that, and ask you too many questions about your business. That's not their business. God tell you do it. You do it. What does Nehemiah do? To build the wall, or rebuild the wall. And God fixed it so that he allowed the man to be blessed by the king. And then finally, he had the courage to come and take a squat, survey the situation, talk to the people. And once he had it right, next move was built. And their city was laid in waste, because when you lose the walls around your city, You have no fortification to keep out the enemy. So they will ravage the place. And you have no gates, and those people are dependent upon these gates and walls. The condition is bad. But nevertheless, they worked hard on the Nehemiah and started building and building and building and building and building and building. And after a while, it became evident to those who were enemies that something was happening because they saw the walls going up. And that's where comments were made, because look how they look. They're building the wall is true. But with these holes in the wall right now, if a fox go up there and move, might throw the wall down. That's the enemy speaking. But the enemy was quite, still there. They wanted to invite Nehemiah to come to something that they had. They invited him to come. But the intention was that once he comes there to them, he will not get a chance to go back to build that wall. And that's how they work. They pull you off your course, invite you to their setting, and so now once you dine with them, you can lose your life. Because their whole intention is to get rid of you. And you have a vision to do that, they don't want to accomplish it. The devil hardly wants us to accomplish anything great. The devil uses a lot of people to discourage us. People of influence, affluence, whatever, to discourage us. But when God lay upon your heart something to do that is good, you have to just keep going. You have to keep going. No matter all the voices may be against you, once you're sure God has led you in that direction, keep on going. Amen. You know, in our world, I realize that when you're dead, they hate you because for all the years that Luther King was speaking about social justice in his land, many people were hearing him, and many weren't hearing him. But they realized that when he died, at least a holiday in his name now. Can you imagine that? A holiday in his name. In his lifetime, the threats were coming in from left, right, and center. Get out of his town. He'll kill you, kill your family, in this time. That's the kind of threats that was coming in on a regular basis. But God had allowed him to do a task. And he persevered in doing the task. And he came to a point where he says, well, my eyes have seen this. And he told what his eyes have seen. This is the end of his task. I said, let's go. And on the hotel balcony, the bullet was there. Shooting. And I said, but it's months. No, he got a lot of, death threats. But he had to do his task. And I said, I can't leave this work to come to chat to you. I must be about what I have to do. And Jerusalem was, they worked hard and they built. But you know something? We now must keep in mind, whenever we attempt to rebuild walls that are fallen, we must give ourselves totally first to the service of God. And once we give ourselves to the service of God, and keep that aim, God will help us. A lot of our people, you feel sorry for them sometimes because they start off saying they believe in God. And then they go to a point where they kind of tell you that they believe in themselves now. I don't believe God again. God had those who held himself. And like as though you assisted God, he can't assist you anymore. Don't ever come to that point. No matter what point you reach in life, God has to keep guiding you. And believers, if you don't, let me say this to you. There's a lot of things that come now. I'm 73 now. I'll be 74 in a couple of months. People. But you know, in serving God and in going to churches and whatever,